This show is brought to you by Jam Time Machine Radio, the finest of old school black and pop music. Check out www.jamtimemachine.com and listen to non-stop old school black and pop music. Jam Time Machine Radio, more than just music.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Everyone has a certain role they play for their team, whether it's being the go-to scorer or just being a great hustle player who gets the little things done. Every role is important. In the NBA, it is very significant to have a great six-man or bench players in general who could keep the same tempo the starting five created. Many even argue that some players who come off the bench deserve a starting position. James Harden, who has won the MVP award, has even at a point in time come off the bench. We will take a look at Jamal Crawford, also known as J Crossover, who has won the Sixth Man of the Year award 3 times, and evaluate his prime. Today's topic is, how good was Jamal Crawford in his prime? Let's check it out. Crawford grew up in Seattle, Washington, and started playing basketball around the age of 3 years old. He grew up playing multiple sports like baseball, basketball, and football, but basketball was a sport that he was most passionate about. In the 8th grade, Jamal moved in with his father who lived in California, but he stopped playing basketball for a short moment due to his grades. He ended up moving back to Seattle and attended Rainier Beach High School for his junior and senior year. He improved his team tremendously and was a huge asset to their success. Jamal led his team to a state championship in 1998. Jamal was the 1998 Gatorade State Player of the Year and also a top high school prospect in 1999. Rainier High School has produced a few players who had played in the NBA, for example, Nate Robinson, Doug Christie, and Terrence Williams, just to name a few. They retired his jersey, which was number 23, and in 2018 they inducted him into their Hall of Fame. After his high school career, Jamal received a scholarship to play for the University of Michigan and committed to play there.
Here at Chrysler Arena, as Chrysler can run the screen and roll, he's got perimeter game, and he can finish in the paint.
In the 1999-2000 season, he was a starter and averaging 16.6 points, 4.5 assists, and 2.8 rebounds his freshman year. After only attending the University of Michigan for 1 year, he declared for the NBA draft in 2000. He was drafted 8th overall by the Cleveland Cavs, but was immediately traded to the Chicago Bulls. Going into Jamal's rookie year in the year 2000 and 2001, he struggled with his shot. He only shot 35% from the field. He only scored double digits twice and averaged 4.6 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. The Chicago Bulls struggled and lost 42 out of their first 48 games. They finished the 2000-2001 season with only 15 wins and 67 losses, as the worst record in the Central Division and also the worst league record. Rookie Jamal Crawford did not have the best season to start, nor did he get drafted to a successful team. Jamal was injured in his next season, only playing in 23 games, but his stats increased across the board. In the 2001-2002 season, he averaged 9.3 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 2.4 assists, and shot 44.8% from the field. Going into his third season with the Bulls, Jamal became an important piece to the Bulls' offense. He started in almost half of the games, and they finished with a 30-win and 52-loss record, but they still missed the playoffs that year. In the 2003-2004 season, Jamal started as a shooting guard and averaged 17.3 points, 3.5 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 1.4 steals. On April 11th, he had his first 50-point game against the Toronto Raptors. This was his last season with the Bulls before being traded to the New York Knicks. In the 2004-2005 season, Jamal started all but 3 games with the Knicks. They were a young rebuilding team and struggled just like his previous team, the Bulls. He averaged 17.7 points, 2.9 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 1.4 steals, keeping it consistent with his previous season. Although Crawford started most games in his first year with the Knicks, soon he was switched to a six-man role. It took him some time to adjust to the new role, but he embraced it. Going into the 2006-2007 season, the Knicks made some management changes and Isaiah Thomas was the new head coach. Jamal suffered from a torn ACL, which caused him to miss some games. He still maintained his 17-point average. His next season with the Knicks, he was back to the starting lineup once again. He now averaged 20.6 points per game and had a new career high of 52 points. The Knicks still struggled making the playoffs with a 23-59 record. And the 2008-2009 season, Jamal only played another 11 games with the Knicks before he was traded to the Golden State Warriors. Jamal only stayed with the Warriors for one season in 2008 and 2009. He started in all games he played for them and averaged almost 20 points each game. He scored another career-high 50 points, making him the fourth player in NBA history to score 50-plus points with three different teams. At the end of this season, Crawford was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. In the 2009-2010 season, Jamal joined the Atlanta Hawks as his fourth team he's played for. In 2010, he set a new record for the most career 4-point plays, which surpassed Reggie Miller. This season, he was averaging 18 points coming off the bench. At this time, the Hawks had All-Star guard Joe Johnson, Mike Bibby, Josh Smith, and Al Horford, which was why he came off the bench. He won the 2010 Sixth Man of the Year award, and the Hawks qualified for the playoffs, but lost in the second round. Going into the 2010-2011 season, Crawford had another solid season, helping the Hawks clinch the fifth seed in the playoffs. They made it to the semifinals, but were defeated by the Chicago Bulls in 6 games. Jamal signed with the Portland Trail Blazers as a free agent on December 15, 2011, but played a short season because of the NBA lockout. He averaged nearly 14 points a game. Jamal then signed to the Clippers in the 2012 offseason. He was a runner-up to J.R. Smith for the 2013 Sixth Man of the Year award. He ended up winning the Sixth Man of the Year award for the second time in 2014. He helped the Clippers finish the 2014-2015 season with their best record in franchise history with 57 wins and only 25 losses. He became the third shooting guard in NBA history to reach 16,000 points. In 2016, Crawford was named Sixth Man of the Year for a third time in his career at 36 years old. He also broke the record for the oldest winner of the award as well. Jamal Crawford was also a part of the Lob City era of the Clippers, and he helped them reach the success that came alongside Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. After being traded from the Clippers, Jamal continued to float around from the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2017 to the Phoenix Suns in 2018. He is currently playing for the Brooklyn Nets in the final part of the season as a substitute player. So when exactly was Jamal Crawford in his prime? In my opinion, he began his prime towards the end of the 2000s playing for the Warriors. In his 2008-2009 season, he played in his best games of his career. He averaged 19.7 points and shot almost 41% from the field. This was the second highest average of his career. The previous season, after being traded to the Knicks, he scored a career-high 20.6 points per game in the 2007-2008 season. The last two Sixth Man of the Year awards were in Los Angeles. Jamal had plenty of clutch moments in which he succeeded in. He averaged 18.6 points in the 2014 season with the Clippers. Being a part of a great team, Jamal flourished into a six-man role and was a key component to the Clippers and their success as a team. In my opinion, his prime began to decline after he left the Clippers in 2017. Jamal is nearing the end to his NBA career, but continues to live his NBA dream, still playing at 40 years old. He will always be known as one of the best players to come off the bench and also one of the smoothest ball handlers in the NBA. He is still recording records till this day and has scored a total of 19,414 points in his 19-year career. And this concludes today's episode on how good was Jamal Crawford in his prime. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe below. See you next time.
For 11. from three-point range. You're watching the NBA.
This show is brought to you by Jam Time Machine Radio, the finest of old school black and pop music. Check out www.jamtimemachine.com and listen to non-stop old school black and pop music. Jam Time Machine Radio, more than just music.